mission was to make something that had enough nicotine in it, you wouldn't feel the need to go back to your combustion cigarette. We were trying to get smokers away from smoking with various options. So Juul offered flavors for the same reason Tesla offers multiple colors. Not everyone's gonna like the same thing.
When we first started, we had 4 flavors.
We kind of cover all bases with fruit, brulee, mint, and then tobacco for all your Marlboro Red smokers.
Their flavors had incredibly stupid names.
Like fruit was spelled F-R-U-U-T, and creme brulee was B-R-U-U-L-E, and mint was spelled M-I-I-N-T.
They were just trying so hard that it felt dumb, honestly. But the flavors were a key part of the whole thing. They wanted to make this not only satiating from a nicotine perspective, but also enjoyable and pleasant to smoke and smells better than your average cigarette.
Your typical vapor doesn't want to smell like a cigarette, doesn't want to inhale all the carcinogens from a cigarette, or just wants some different flavors.
I thought the names were stupid, but I actually thought the idea was pretty smart.
James and Adam had created a product that seemed like it would work really well and be attractive to users, but there were still issues.
Pods were a problem. We did not have 100% yield anywhere near that. We set out to make 100. We may have ended up with 8 that were good.
Yeah, a lot of people got a squirt of nicotine liquid into their mouth when they would inhale.
One employee said that he got creme brulee liquid in his mouth so often that he now can't eat creme brulee because it was so disgusting.
To get battery in there, to get tubes in there, to get the pods small enough to work was a technical challenge. People say, hey, we need a bigger unit. James just refused to budge on the unit size. He really liked the way that unit looked.
That's kind of what a visionary does, right? He's an artist. But, we were rushed. About a month before the original launch date, we didn't have a way to fill pods yet.
James told them, you have to figure all of these problems out. You have no other choice.
You ever heard the old adage, when in doubt, ship it? There's a variation on that one, which is, fuck it, ship it.
There was pressure to get this product out there. PAX, a loose leaf tobacco, and cannabis vaporizer was the engine from a financial perspective. But we started to see some PAX revenue wane.
At the same time, Japan Tobacco International, who was a major investor, was growing uncomfortable with how much the PAX devices were becoming associated with marijuana.
JTI said, we can't be part of a company involved with cannabis, so we're going to have to part ways. And so in the end, we paid them the $10 million back.
In some ways, splitting with JTI was actually a good thing. Many employees felt uncomfortable that a tobacco company was a major investor.
Juul wanted to be a tech company and didn't want to be dragged down by the stink, so to speak, of the tobacco industry.
At that point in time, getting a reliable, solid product that we could start ramping manufacturing on was the biggest focus.
Investors had been pouring money into the company for years, and they were antsy for some of that money back. So James and Adam knew that they needed Juul to sell, and to sell really well.
It's really, really, really hard for a company to have a mission it believes in and cares deeply about, and a board who wants tons of growth. I gave you millions of dollars, and you owe me billions of dollars. If we make the world a better place in the meantime, fantastic.
If a company doesn't make profit, it's not going to last long. Public health first, but you can't have public health if nobody buys the product.
Silicon Valley is known for these big, iconic companies, but what we don't remember is the graveyard of startups that is also Silicon Valley. And so when a company is going to market for the first time, it's really important to get it right. You only have one chance to make a first impression.
So I love smoking. And I know I'm not alone in this. It's been...
James was extremely confident and believed in himself very deeply, but it started to become apparent that he was not the kind of founder who could become his own brand and really sell the company to the world.
We're not an activist company. We're not prescriptive, right, in our products. If you don't like what we're making better than cigarettes, then have a cigarette. That's fine. We're not against against that.
It was incredibly jarring to hear somebody say something like, if you don't like our product, then just go smoke a cigarette. Because the whole idea of the company had been built on the fact that cigarettes are bad for you.
He might say, in like the context of talking to a journalist, exactly what he believes, as opposed to, whatever is the most beneficial thing to say for the company.
I don't think that he had a very good handle on what it was that we were going to do by way of marketing.
It's really important that you get the strategy and the execution right. The stakes are incredibly high.
As Juul's launch date got closer, James needed someone he could rely on to sell it, and he had someone at the company who'd already proven himself to be a very talented marketer. Richard Mumby first joined the company as a marketing consultant, and he was the polar opposite of your typical Silicon Valley bro. He had gotten a degree from Dartmouth, he'd worked at fashion startups in New York City, and he was basically a social media influencer.
Every time that I met Richard Mumby, it felt